Hello guys, welcome to the course of Level 8 API Development Tutorial. This is our part number 37. Inside this video, we will create Register API. If I back to editor, in the last video, we have configured API.php. Now this time, we will create Register API. Back to user controller. Inside this user controller, here we have the first method, that is register. So while registering any user, what are the fields we want? So for that, if we back to our database table, go to users, click on structure. So inside users table, to register any new user, we want name, email, phone number and password. Rest all the fields will have the default value. So we mainly pass name, email, phone number and password. So if I back to editor, so here we will use request instance. So let's request. We will use first validate, and one more thing, what are the steps we will do inside this register method? First of all, we will do validation, create user data. Also we'll save inside that, so plus save, and next we will send response. So let's get started all about for the validation. So request, we will use validate method, passing an array, and inside this array the field we have called name, email, phone number, and here we have password. So for the name field, we want that the form validation rules we have something like required. If I copy, pasting it here, so all these four fields we want that these fields should be mandatory, so all these required. Now next, the email value should be a valid email format, so email, and also the email address should be unique inside users table, so unique, and here we are passing the table name, so users. Now next, phone number, it is required, password, and after required also we'll add one more validation rule, that is confirmed. So when we add this confirmed rule inside this password, it means we need to pass one more parameter inside body, and that is password underscore confirmation. Otherwise we will get an error something password confirmation does not match. So here are the validation what we have implemented. Now next, let's say that we are successfully passing the name value, email, phone number and the password. So we need to create a user instance, so that after getting all these data, we need to save that user inside table. So inside this controller, already we have user model loaded. So first of all, let's create an instance. So user, new, user, we have the name field, user, we have next the email field. If I will copy this field 2 more times, next we have for the phone number, and here we have for the password. So by using request instance, we will get the name value inside this object. So if I will copy, go here, this is for the email value. For phone number, we will pass the key something like phone number, and for the password we have the field name as password. And one more thing, when we will create any user and insert inside users table, the password should be in hashed format. So in Sanctum, while doing in the second phase of API development, we had used the hash package to make password hashed format, but this time we will use bcrypt helper function. So bcrypt, inside this helper function we are passing our plain text password. Automatically this function will convert this plain text value into hashed format. Now finally, after mass assignment of all these values, next we need to save into table, so we will use save method. And finally we need to send the response, so let's return response JSON, making an array. Let's say status equals to 1 and message, let's say user registered successfully. And also if we want to pass the status code, also we can pass it here. Otherwise the default value equals to 200. So after saving all these changes, let's test this register API. So first of all, we need to start development server. So we are currently inside this API phase 3. Let's say PHP artisan serve, pressing enter. Our development server has been started. So I will copy this link back to Postman, pasting it here. And for register API, we need to choose post request type, and the route is something register. And one more thing, all the routes what we have configured inside this API.php, so we need to add a prefix here, something API. So the route we have called http localhost 8000 port API / register. Inside header we need to pass content type, it is application JSON. Next we have called accept application JSON, go to body, select raw, and inside this we will pass the values as name, email, we should have called phone number, and finally we have password. So if we pass the empty value to check our validation, the validation is working or not. Now if I click on this send button, as we can see that validation is working perfectly. Go here. Now if I pass the value as my name, go inside this email address. So let's pass this value inside this phone number. I am passing a dummy value and password is from 1 to 6. If I click on send button, and as we know that we have used confirm validation rule, so we need to pass one more field, that is password underscore confirmation. So back to Postman, go here. So password underscore confirmation, and inside this we need to pass the exact value what we have inside our password field. So all we are passing, click on send button, user registered successfully. So if I back to table, click on browse, and as we can see that we are getting the first value entry inside this users table. Let's create the other user. Back to Postman, let's change this name value, and this time I am using the same email address to check the unique validation rule. Click on send button, and as we can see that the email has already been taken. So let's change the email value. Let's pass something different, phone number, password is from 1 to 6. Click on send button, user registered successfully. Back to table, click on refresh, and now inside this table we have two different users. So successfully guys, inside this video we have created register API. In the next video we will see the concept of login API. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.